Is the British government colluding with the CIA to harm the Chinese ambassador? What unspeakable past do the top spy and assassin partnership share? The plot development of Netflix's new series Black Doves is truly unpredictable. After discovering that the Chinese ambassador's daughter, Kai Ming, has been kidnapped by drug lord Hector, Sam falls into deep thought. He left London years ago because of Hector. Originally, Sam was just a low-level worker in the Black Doves organization. His father was a famous assassin, and growing up in that environment, Sam developed an interest in the profession. He became one of Lenny's assassins, quickly rising to the top of the industry with his incredible talent. In his spare time, he would train Helen in combat skills at Reed's request. Their relationship evolved from partners to close friends. It was during this time that Sam met the love of his life, Michael, marking the happiest period of his life. As Wallace rose to become defense minister, Helen often had to accompany him to important events. Sam and Helen's time together grew increasingly scarce, often only catching glimpses of her on TV news. Meanwhile, Lenny assigned Sam a new task: eliminate the emerging Newman crime family. He successfully took out all the core members but hesitated when faced with Hector, the family's young son. Sam couldn't bring himself to pull the trigger on a child, violating his principles. Little did he know that his mercy would sow the seeds of future trouble. 6 months later, on a morning when Sam woke up embracing Michael, he was about to pour his usual cup of coffee. Although he narrowly defeated his attackers, it terrified Michael. Even more frightening was that the mastermind behind this attack was the young Hector, whose men had now surrounded Sam. With no other choice, Sam turned to the only person he trusted, Helen. At that time, Helen was heavily pregnant and about to give birth. She had considered becoming an ordinary mother and wife, even applying to leave Black Doves. However, upon receiving Sam's call, she rushed to his aid without hesitation, despite her condition. She begged Reed to help protect Sam's boyfriend, Michael. Reed agreed, but at a cost. Sam had to break up with Michael, and Helen could never leave Black Doves until they had squeezed every last bit of use out of her. After that, Sam and Michael never saw each other again. He thought his feud with Hector was over, but now Hector is involved in the Chinese ambassador case he's investigating. Helen informs Sam about the intelligence she gathered from eavesdropping on Wallace and Stephen. Philip seemed to have leverage over Stephen before his death, and the SY he mentioned to Jason likely refers to Stephen. Helen reminds Sam that Stephen will attend a kindergarten event tonight. As Stephen is about to enter the event, he receives a phone call, and suddenly feels a gun pressed against his back. Stephen refuses to divulge anything, so Sam checks his phone, discovering frequent contacts with some unlabeled repair shop. On the night of the Chinese ambassador's death, Stephen sent a message to repair shop saying,
"It's done. What was done, Stephen?"
Stephen not only remains tight-lipped but warns Sam not to get involved.
If you're smart, you'd already be running.
With Stephen's phone, Helen sends a message to repair shop, threatening to expose them. Repair shop quickly responds with a taunt. At a Defense Department dinner, Helen meets Danny, the assistant who had sent flirtatious messages to Wallace. Young, beautiful, and socially adept, Danny reminds Helen of her younger self. Suddenly, Repair Shop calls Helen, warning her to stop investigating. They send a video showing Stephen being tortured, punishment for exposing his identity. Helen feels a chill down her spine, wondering what kind of power could dare to torture a high-ranking British police official. Meanwhile, Wallace is in secret talks with Chinese representatives. They have new evidence. An hour before the ambassador's body was found, cameras captured a man named Cole. He's not only Kai Ming's boyfriend but also a CIA agent. He ran from the crime scene straight into the U.S. Embassy in London and hasn't left since. Moreover, surveillance footage around the embassy has been deleted, clearly implicating the British government.
Your closest ally just committed an act of war upon us, and your government is complicit in covering it up.
The Chinese representative takes a hard stance, warning Wallace that the British government will face consequences. However, there's room for negotiation if the UK government agrees to give military procurement orders to China. Feeling upset, Wallace decides to leave the party early with Helen. However, Danny's farewell words stunned Helen.
Well, the door closes, the window opens.
It's a Chinese proverb, which is also Reed's catchphrase. As Helen leaves, Danny's expression grows increasingly sinister. Meanwhile, Sam has located Hector's hideout and brings Williams and her partner for the mission. As Sam retrieves weapons from the trunk, he looks at the only thing his father left behind, remembering his first mission, to kill an unruly killer who turned out to be his own father. Now, as a killer himself, Sam has reached the same level as his father. Will Sam, troubled by love, meet the same fate as his father?